It's been a packed day of college hoops. Our Fox triple header finishes here in sunny Los Angeles, where the undefeated and number 5 team of the country, the Nevada Wolfpack, face their toughest task yet. They take on the USC Trojans, who look for their first resume-building win of this early season. Welcome inside the Galen Center here in Golden alongside Jim Jackson. And Jim, for Nevada, anything shy of a Final Four would likely be a disappointment at this point. They take on their first of 3 Pac-12 foes this season. All will be on the road or on a neutral site. Meanwhile, for USC, it's pretty simple, right? Last year, snubbed by the community, in large part because their non-conference schedule was so weak.
Well, this year kind of starting off in the same note in regards to dropping opportunity against Vanderbilt and Texas Tech. But you have an opportunity this afternoon to kind of right yourself by winning this game against a tough Nevada team. And for Nevada, it's all about proving that you belong in the top 5. You got to go on the road to win. Tough Pac-12. This USC team may be undermanned, but they got a lot of heart and a lot of determination to win this basketball game, so it should be interesting.
Well, the Martin twins are the headliners for the Wolfpack, but how about Jordan Caroline? He's a double-double waiting to happen. He's an absolute beast.
Well, here's the thing. He's built like a tight end, but it has soft touch inside, coming off 15 points and 6 rebounds against their win against Loyola. The combination of power, speed, finesse, I think complements what the Martin twins do inside. For that duo, you always need someone else, and Caroline is that other guy.
The other half of our Geico players to watch, it is Vinny Boatwright for the Trojans. When he is healthy, and he is healthy now, he's dynamic.
Well, he puts so much pressure on the defense, especially with the pick and pop, forces bigs to come outside of the lane and have to guard him. But he also is adept at making plays with the basketball for his teammates, so it should be a great matchup.
And how about those Martin twins? Tough to tell them apart. Caleb Martin, number 10, the reigning Mountain West Player of the Year. Cody Martin coming off a season-best 20 points, 7 assists. Meanwhile, for the Trojans, Nick Rakocevic having a fantastic start to the season, 6th in the nation in rebounding. And what about Kevin Porter Jr.? Not in the lineup. He's been out for 10 days. For more on that, to the court and Christina Pink.
Yeah, well, in a season that has been absolutely depleted by injuries, the Trojans getting some good news that Kevin Porter Jr. is available today. You mentioned that he hasn't played in 10 days. Guys, it was 50-50 on whether he would go today. He had some swelling and pain in practice, but coming into the game, Andy Enfield told me that he saw some improvement. Obviously, they're going to keep an eye on him throughout today's game, but they need him and his length in a very critical matchup.
Jim, we'll see what the minutes are, but based on the fact that he was not on the floor at all yesterday, is this surprising to you?
It's not surprising because he's a young man. He wants to play. I talked to him before the game. He said, yes, there is pain. It's tough for him to jump. But let's see how the coaching staff kind of monitors his minutes. I think a lot of it is going to be based on the flow of the game. But I do expect to maybe see him on the court at some point.
This Nevada team is one of the top offenses in the nation. They average just over 90 points a game. Now 7 to shoot in first possession. Caroline heaves, not close.
And interesting too, this 2-3 zone is going to be a challenge for Nevada, and the reason why is because it's a long zone, so it's going to force Nevada to have some contested shots, just like we saw right there with Caroline.
Now pretty move, Shaquan Aaron. Now Cody Martin running the point, and this is interesting. He's now point guard. This happened last year, of course, but he's moved from the power forward to the point position as Caleb puts it up and hits from 3.
Well, it shows the versatility, but also it shows the trust that Coach Musselman has in Martin, that he'll make the right decisions. And the decision to throw it to his brother right there for a 3-point shot was very smart.
Now, it's not easy to tell the twins apart. If you ask Coach Musselman, he'll tell you, well, Cody's the one who will pass the ball.
Yeah, and Caleb is the one that is always hunting for shots. Isn't that always the younger brother syndrome? Like, I got to prove a lot more, even though he's just a minute older. His brother is, Kobe is.
Kosovic strips, and it's a shot clock violation.
And just one thing about this Trojan team is that they got themselves into trouble in early games by turning the basketball over. Then you're kind of fighting back in. With this Nevada team, you can't do it, especially live ball turnovers, because they love to get out in transition, and they'll ultimately make you pay for your turnover.
And of course, the Wolfpack, they protect the ball better than almost anybody in the nation.
Yeah, averaging less than 10 turnovers a game. But again, think about it. You got seniors in the lineup. You know, that helps. And you see a senior right there with Caroline being able to get inside of the zone. If you're playing this 2-3 zone, you can't have that interior pass get in there. And that's something that Coach Musselman wants to exploit, to get Caroline one-on-one position inside.
Kosovic on the block, has space and off the glass. Wolfpack offense features 5 1,000-point scores. They are all transfers. Caroline, one of them, off the mark with Kosovic. And the infield wanted a foul over the back. It's Trojans' ball. Aaron, a three, and he's 2 for 2.
And you know, part of playing the zone defense, again, you're playing the spot, but you have to complete the deal by getting the rebound. Coach Enfield wants to attack in transition. If you don't have it, then you set up at that time, able to knock in a deep three.
And Caroline in the paint again. He's been perfect. Kosovic has the height advantage, but Caroline most certainly the weight advantage. Off the glass, and good. The Duke transfer, Derek Thornton.
Yeah, talking to Coach Enfield, he was very confident that his Trojan team could score against this long, experienced Wolfpack team, and we see it early on.
Too easy in the paint. Caroline is feasting early on.
Well, he's finding a sweet spot within the zone, and then basically, when you get the ball right in the middle, Aaron, it then becomes one-on-one with the defender. So Caroline's able to have that advantage inside. USC has to do a better job of taking that initial pass away from Jordan Caroline.
Thornton weaves and kicks. The hot hand recently, and it's off the mark. Jonah Matthews been shooting over 50% from the floor. Quick transition pull-up, no good by Cody Martin. Caleb, baseline. Tough angle on it. Aaron taking on. Back no good. Caroline running the break. Start, stop. And a jump ball. Our first break in the action. Pretty fast-paced game so far. Number 5 team in the country leading USC. Fox College Hoops is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, your first-round pick for car insurance. Good look at the sparkling new USC Village, very popular with the students, as you might imagine. Beautiful day here in Southern California. How about Jordan Caroline so far, leading the way 6 early points?
Well, the strategy was to get the basketball in the middle of the court for Jordan Caroline so he can just go to work. Again, it's one-on-one basketball against any defender inside, and right now it just happens to be the ability for him to get the ball. Now, if you're USC, you have to take that pass away, because once you get it in the middle, you collapse the defense, and he's very good at this. If he doesn't have the shot, he's able to get it out to his teammates for open jump shots.
He looks like he's built for a defensive line.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the bloodlines there. His father, Simeon Rice, grandfather, college football Hall of Famer at Illinois. Of course, Jordan's from Champaign. Began his career at Southern Illinois before transferring.
Well, I asked him about the football thing. You see an offensive foul here. He said in high school he played quarterback and receiver. Can you imagine that? That's a quarterback and receiver. I said, have you been approached about maybe at the next level playing tight end? He said, yeah, but I have no interest. Basketball is what I love.
That's called an option quarterback.
No, it's called a quarterback you get out the way. Kind of built like Cam Newton, man.
Even at 9 here in the first half. Into the corner, Trayshawn Thurman at 3, too strong. Kosovic, the 6th leading rebounder in the nation, pulls it down. Leads the Pac-12. Thornton, the Trojans' assist leader. Matthews steps back and puts it through.
Well, doing a good job. USC is attacking this Nevada team off the dribble and then making a sound decision. That time Matthews got stopped and able to hit that nice little floater.
Caleb in transition, quickly ahead. Thornton takes up and puts it through.
And what happens? You shoot that corner jump shot, no balance in the backcourt. You give up an easy basket. That time to Thornton. Have to do a better job of setting the defense and getting guys back in position to take that away to Nevada.
Martin puts it up too strong. Rebound pulled down Shaquan Aaron. Aaron with 5 points early. He's been in double figures back-to-back games. Aaron pulls up and hits again. Wolfpack's missed its last 5 shots. 15-9 now, Trojans on top. Aaron giving Caroline some space. He backs in, follows his miss. Kosovic another rebound.
Yeah, 2 tries that time by Caroline. May have gotten away with lowering that shoulder, but play on.
Kosovic trying to go coast to coast. Wolfpack quickly ahead. Caroline taking on 2. Put back this time by Kayla Martin. Boatwright's been quiet so far. He's recently joined the 1,000-point club. He'll kick out. Go to Matthews. Ball's right to the lap of Trey Porter, senior from Virginia. This Nevada team, one of the most experienced in the country. Step back deep, 2 and good. Cody Martin hits for the first time.
Well, it's all about recognition. That time, Kosovic inside is the identified person they're going to kind of go at in the middle. Caroline has done it. Now you saw Martin with a one-on-one opportunity and took advantage of it.
Kosovic gets it swatted away. They call goaltending on Trey Porter.
Here's the missed shot in the corner. Nobody is here for the Wolfpack to get back, and now you just give yourself an open opportunity. You have to have better court balance. If it's a shot from the opposite corner, the opposing guard has to be back in position to get back to take that away.
Jordan Usher, Elijah Weaver off the bench now for USC, just took the floor. Loose ball stays here. USC can't believe it. Time out of the floor. We will step aside. 12 minutes left to play. 17-13 USC on top. USC leading the number 5 team of the country, the Nevada Wolfpack, moments to go inside Eric Musselman's Wolfpack huddle.
We're -4 right now. We have to get defensive stops. Everybody's got to get defensive stops. Do we understand that? Matthews is missed too. Watch pulling in too much on Matthews. The guy that's going to try to start scoring is Boatwright a little bit. Right?
Well, you got to give USC a lot of credit because they're attacking this Nevada team off the bounce. But, you know, the tendency when you're a team like the Wolfpack that can score, you kind of let your defense lack a little bit, knowing that you can make it up. And what Musselman wants is, guys, the attention to detail. If USC is going to score, allow them to score, contest it, and make it tough. They're getting too many easy baskets early. Let's see if they make the adjustment.
Deep 3 off the mark by Kayla Martin. Elijah Weaver, 4-star recruit, freshman out of Florida, brings it across.
Big point guard, big body, 6'5", can see over the top of the defense. It's a great learning process for the young guy.
We'll talk about a mismatch here. Boatwright trying to go over Jazz Johnson, who just checked in. Smallest man on the floor, 5'10".
Yeah, but Jazz did his job. He forced Boatwright just to shoot a tough shot, fading away.
Johnson, corner 3. His first attempt. Caroline, the offensive rebound. On a fresh 30 seconds. Caroline taken on 3, and he'll go to the line. Only our second foul in this game early on today. About midway through the first half.
And you see Caroline that time, Aaron, that this is where being a senior and being in these moments, he was patient against the zone to see if there was any help coming. And once he was able to figure out that he had one-on-one position, that's when he attacked the middle of the teeth for the defense and was able to get up and get a foul. Keep your eye here. First, he was the offensive rebound, patient. Okay, nobody's coming down. Let me exploit this. I got a mismatch inside. Use that big body and shoulder to initiate the contact, but then draw the foul.
Misses both. Bounce pass Usher. He fades away. corner again. Johnson, University of Portland transfer. Of course, this is a program built around transfers. The Martin twins headlining that. Both out of NC State. Thurman almost walked. Dangerous pass and out of bounds. You talk about building a program around guys coming in from other schools. That's exactly what Eric Musselman has done.
Well, I talked to him. We were fortunate to be with this group in Las Vegas about a week ago over Thanksgiving. I talked to Eric about how do you build the program. He said, listen, for us, it's all about getting experienced guys that want to have maybe a second chance to play. Guys understand the value of coming to Nevada to play with this coaching staff, and it's worked. They've done a great job, an outstanding job of doing that. And moreover, guys, he didn't have to recruit as much. Guys came to him and wanted to transfer in.
Jordan Usher hits a three. 22 points a couple of games ago. That gives the Trojans their biggest lead of the day. And you saw in that graphic, only one of the transfers a grad transfer. So Musselman has been able to convince these players to sit out a year. Caroline hangs, scoops, and scores.
But I think players understand the value of playing in this system.
Matthews trying to counter on the other end, but instead Caleb Martin the rebound. Caleb Martin weaving all the way, and it rattles home. Timeout called Andy Enfield. He'll step aside with them.
And welcome back, and right now the Wolfpack are kind of making a little run. You expect that from this senior-oriented team, and Jordan Caroline back again. Rakocevic inside, knowing that he has the mismatch, able to take advantage of it, and then one of the Martin brothers able to get down the lane through the course of the defense. Listen, man, I'm pretty good at recognizing who is who, but these two right now are confusing me, man. So we just gonna call them the Martin brothers.
Rakocevic having a strong start in this first half, 6.6 boards.
Well, excellent pick that time by Rakocevic, able to put a body and then roll inside.
Jazz Johnson hits for the first time. He's a 56% three-point shooter early on this season.
Well, that's what happens, Aaron, when you can get the ball at the court quickly against a zone defense before they get set. You can get a good look, and even if you miss, you find yourself in a good position if you're Nevada to get an offensive rebound.
Lincoln has it knocked away, stays with the Trojans. So here's how you cheat a little bit and find out. Well, the leg wrap, right? That's Caleb Martin. Okay. The arm wrap is Cody, and if they change that at halftime, we have no way of knowing.
I wonder if they trick people with that. Yeah, seriously.
3 to shoot now. Jordan Usher a deep three. And let's see, that would be Cody.
Well, I guess, quite honestly, what gives them away is their number.
But they're pretty close.
But 10 and 11, you kind of, if we just pay attention like we're supposed to, like our job, we wouldn't have that issue.
I don't need all the pressure.
I'm just saying, 10 and 11. Hello.
Caroline tucks, kicks. Straightaway three, Corey Henson. And it is saved to Rakocevic, who has it knocked away. Loose ball. Usher recovers. And he's fouled in the paint. Oh, offensive foul. He can't believe it.
Well, it's interesting to see if Corey Henson was able to be set. When we go back, the hustle out in transition. Oh, man.
Fortunately, Caleb is all right.
And right here, Henson was sort of back into that play. I thought that was one of those calls that could have been kind of let go.
On the floor now for the first time for Nevada, number 21, Jordan Brown. First ever 5-star recruit in Wolfpack history. Second ever McDonald's All-American. In fact, he's the biggest recruit to come to Reno in any sport, let alone just basketball.
Well, that just goes to show the respect that this program is beginning to get. If you can recruit like that in a program like Nevada, you win, people want to come and play for you.
Caroline picks up his first foul. This is a good one here in the first half. Number 5 team of the country, Nevada, down by 2. Trojans shooting 53% so far in the first half. They lead by 2 over Nevada. We talked about the Martin twins. You know, they first started tracking these things, Jim, in the early 60s. How about we go back to Tom and Dick Van Arsdale for the Hoosiers, 62-65.
Yep.
No more modern times. Over to Palo Alto. Brooke and Robin Lopez. A couple of twins there for the Cardinal over their history. Marcus and Markieff Morris for Kansas. Aaron and Andrew Harrison with Kentucky most recently, 2013-15. How about the scouting report on these two?
Well, Caleb, the younger brother by a minute, of course, very confident, clutch player, wears his emotions like a little brother would, you know, trying to beat up the bigger brother. Cody's a little bit more serene, versatile, can play all 5 positions. Like I said, he's the older brother of the two. We forgot about the Collins twins at Stanford, Jared and Jason. So, been successful. I don't know if I could do a twin. I don't want a twin. I just want me. I'm selfish.
Well, Boatwright's been held scoreless so far.
I think Benny has to be a little bit more aggressive in asking for the ball, putting himself, and his teammates need to really get him going because he opens up so much more for this offense when he gets going, and not necessarily once he starts to score. He's very adept at getting his teammates involved, but you do that by putting pressure on the defense, by putting the ball in the hoop first.
Really very impressive that the Trojans are leading without him scoring a point yet. The leading scorer. Good move there by Thurman. Senior out of Omaha. Into the corner. Jaquan Aaron lets it fly. Cody Martin in the corner. Thurman, the Omaha transfer, now with 10 to shoot. Thornton on Martin, 5 to shoot now. And Caleb Martin loses the ball and picked up, outlet to Aaron, taken on Johnson, and he cannot finish.
Wow, great defense, but the effort was there. Aaron not able to finish in transition. You hate to let those opportunities slip by you.
Thurman taking on Boatwright, tries to get him in the air. Now 7 to shoot. Thurman, little floater.
When in doubt, put it up at the rim. That time I think Thurman was caught in between. Should I pass it? Should I shoot it? He made the right decision, but showed a little touch. Going the opposite way, able to still float it up. A nice little teardrop basket inside.
An 11-2 Wolfpack run has put them on top. And now Thurman on the defensive end. Knocks it away, but it will stay with the Trojans. Last touch by Caleb Martin.
And listen, Aaron, my motto was, when in doubt, put it to the rim. You know, get an opportunity right here. Nice little pick by Thurman. Get inside, the ball's rotating around, and bam, right in the middle. And in the middle of the defense is kind of where you can see the isolation is at. And why that's open is because you have shooters on the perimeter. So it's spreading across the zone a little bit more, which are opening those gaps. You see a pass inside that the Wolfpack can exploit.
Now Rakocevic is almost all the way to a double-double already. 7 boards, 8 points. Back even now, 24. Thurman at the elbow, guarded by Aaron. Almost gets his pocket picked, he does. Thornton, all the way off the glass and good.
And that's how you finish. Your defense to offense. You come up with a great steal, and now you're able to get out in transition. You have numbers. More importantly, you want to take advantage of that by finishing the play with a score.
And it was started by Jonah Matthews, who's been a hot shooter recently. Only 2 points so far today. There's a foul on the floor.
Again, the pick and roll with the slip. Rakocevic able to slide inside an excellent lead pass, and then the steal. Again, active hands by Jonah Matthews, and then Thornton able to get out in transition, use his quickness to get inside for an easy 2.
Second foul on Shaquan Aaron. Only player on either side with multiple fouls. He's to the bench.
And zone doing its job in regards to keeping USC out of foul trouble.
And a walk. Cody Martin with a step.
And if you're in the infield right now, if you look at the landscape of this game, it's right where you want to be. Really not turning the basketball over. You're forcing Nevada to be a little bit uncomfortable versus the zone, and you're exploiting on the offensive end, either get out in transition, but you're forcing the Wolfpack to have to guard you, and you're getting some multiple opportunities inside.
Only 3 turnovers for the Trojans. Matthews puts it through. They called it on the floor.
Next level, my friend. You'll get that call and one. But again, attacking this Wolfpack defense off the dribble. And I like the fact, too, against a long team, if you can catch the ball on the move, now you have an opportunity to attack.
Boatwright finds the bucket for the first time, averaging 17 a game.
And the patience that time to recognize that it was one-on-one defense inside, and Boatwright able to use his excellent footwork and touch to score that basket.
Trojans by 4. Under 4.5 to play in the first half. Caroline, who's been quiet recently after a hot start. Loose ball controlled by USC. Matthews has been in double figures in 4 straight. And as Boatwright was taking a whistle.
Well, when you're undermanned team, you got to be scrappy. You know, you got to figure out ways to get multiple possessions, to get easy baskets. And right now, on the defensive end, the Trojans have been very active with their hands, able to take away some opportunities from the Wolfpack, and then, like I talked about before, able to get out in transition and convert those turnovers into baskets.
And the officials coming to the table to take a look at something. It's going to be a free timeout for both sides. Well, coming up next, the 6th-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes try to keep their playoff hopes alive as they take on number 21 Northwestern of the Big Ten championship game. It's all on Fox or watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app. Jim, you got Northwestern, right?
Who? Oh, man, I can't wait. I've been waiting for what? Here's the thing. Oklahoma wins. That hurts. Okay? How about Dwayne Haskins? Unbelievable performance this year. The loss to Purdue kills us. Oklahoma has one top 20 loss to Texas, but it was on a neutral site.
You want to talk about Clayton Thorson at all?
No. I mean, good for him, but it's all about the Buckeyes right now. I mean, Clayton, you got your work cut out for you, partner. But, you know, last week I was in Vegas watching the game, and I was so nervous against Michigan. But Urban Meyer figured it out.
Looks like they were investigating if there was something more than a common foul. There's not.
Yeah, I think when the player hit the ground, I didn't see who it was. It might have been, I don't think it was Boatwright, but they wanted to see if was there any other activity involved, and the officials just called it a common foul.
Now, Boatwright was the one who was taking. Rakocevic hit the deck.
Okay. Try to set up that backdoor play coming out, and Rakocevic.
Well, they wanted the offensive foul. Caleb Martin tries to give himself up. Not this time.
Well, how about the play call out of the timeout from the officials? But he wanted the backdoor right here to Matthews, and then the pick comes across. And again, it's almost like a slip pick, and that time I think it was Caleb Martin on the backside that didn't rotate over quick enough. And again, he was married to the opposite side of the lane. That half a step took away his opportunity to maybe get a charge.
Kosovic misses the free one, 10 points, 7 boards. He's been a double-double threat every game so far this season. Caroline loses it. 3 games. Jazz Johnson, deep 3. Caroline swats it back through.
No, actually.
No, pardon me, Thurman.
Yeah, Thurman.
That's 6 for Thurman. Is that someone you practice, Jim?
No. Now, I will say this. You do have opportunities where you just try to keep the ball alive and tap it. Maybe a teammate gets it that time. Thurman able to knock it in.
Stay on this end. Just like you drawn up. Thank you, Mike. What a game earlier in Omaha before our game. Zags and the Blue Jays to that at halftime. How about this young man, Nick Vukocevic, coming off his 4th double-double of the season. He's on his way to his 5th.
Well, it's important that he be active on the offensive end, doing an excellent job of putting his body in the way in regards to setting pick and then rolling to the basket, and then finishing. But more importantly, on the defensive end, what he's not doing now, in the zone defense against Caroline and Thurman, early in the game, he would come up and try to guard one-on-one, and they would blow by him. He's adjusted. He's laying back in the zone, forcing Thurman and Caroline to either shoot the jump shot or come to him. That adjustment has been made. They haven't been as effective as they were early in the game.
19 points, 12 boards his last game. Win for the Trojans against Long Beach State. It seems like at least early on he's taking a step forward, to say the least, from last year.
Confidence, experience, all play a hand in how your game improves. You're thinking about improvement right there. You're not going to guard me behind the pick. Jonah Matthews able to step back in rhythm and knock that in.
He's shooting 53% from deep his last 4 games.
Confidence, man.
Well, Caroline was left open at the elbow, and Vukocevic gets the block. Into the hands of Thornton. He tried to find Usher in the paint. Too tight of a window. Thornton, seam opens up, and it closes rapidly.
You know, as we go back to that Caroline play, I was talking about confidence. Right now, Caroline doesn't have the confidence to shoot that little 15-foot jump shot. Everything now, he's trying to get closer to the basket. That's when Vukocevic, his size becomes a factor. And on the opposite end, Thornton able to exploit the defense and get inside. A good block, but there's a little contact after the block took place. I used to tell guys all the time, one thing about this wooden floor, it don't give, man. You know, when you hit it, it hurts.
It's Trayshawn Thurman. Almost picked off. Matthews, front iron, rebound Caroline.
Excellent box out that time out of Wolfpack. See if they can kind of get back into some offensive rhythm that we saw early on.
It's a 3 put through by Jordan Caroline.
So Jordan wouldn't shoot the 15-footer, but he squared up and kind of knocked in a nice 3-point shot. Maybe that'll give him confidence to really look at that and be assertive and aggressive when he receives the ball at the free throw line and look for a shot.
Carolina senior with over 1,600 career points. He's a 40% shooter from deep when he puts it up. Vukocevic with the touch.
Well, not only with the touch, but how about a little banging inside to get in position to shoot that soft jump hook over a smaller Caroline.
Take it this time. There's the confidence. Too strong, though.
Yeah, but you got to take that shot. You missed it right there, but you have to make the defense respect you from that area on the court.
A rare turnover, just the 4th of the Trojans, 6 for Eric Musselman's Wolfpack. When you look at their largest deficit, only 4 points for 7 games. 7 has been the largest lead today for the Trojans.
Yeah, well, this is a different kind of competition here with this long, athletic. You have 4 or 5 guys that can score in double figures for this USC team, so they put a lot of pressure on your defense.
Thurman hits the 3. He's heating up now with 9 in the first half. A couple of games ago, he had 22 against UMass, followed it up by just 1 point last time out against Loyola Chicago. A little revenge.
They can come at you in so many different ways, Aaron, in regards to players just filling the void, scoring the ball.
Vukocevic having to play it off the plexiglass.
I've seen that play before. I don't think that Boatwright wanted to do that.
Oh my goodness, Trayshawn Thurman. Watch out. Within 1, the number 5 team of the country. You were saying something, Jim?
No, I wasn't. Nice pass inside for the alley-oop. That's what I was saying. I think it's important that USC take to the locker room this lead. You got to have confidence and momentum coming in the second half.
Thornton. Rakocevic tries to follow. 5 seconds. Stripped. Usher. Form 3. Rakocevic can't hold on. What a first half.
You know what? The Trojans are where they want to be at the half, leading this tough Wolfpack team, forcing them to dig in a little deep, and gave up an easy one here as Cody Martin able to hit Trayshawn Thurman for the alley-oop. Again, in transition, this is a tough Nevada team. Been down most of the half, able to knock it down to 1 point before they get into halftime.
I told you Cody was one who passes to the court with Christina.
Thanks, guys. You're defensively, you guys were able to stifle them for much of the half. I know they hit some shots here late, but what is working for you guys on that end?
Well, our zone's been pretty active. We're forcing them to make a lot of twos. They did hit 2 threes on kickouts late in the first half, so we have to do a better job of that.
In the second half, what are you guys looking for offensively to get your guys going and continue to find some success?
Well, we haven't turned the ball over except in the last 2 plays of the first half, so and then another to 5 points. So we have to limit our turnovers, and we have to make some open shots. We missed about 7 open threes.
All right, thank you, Coach. Aaron?
Coach Enfield, a chance today for his 100th win here at USC. Well, it's halftime here at Galen Center. After the break, we'll join Mike Hill, Casey Jacobs, and the always dapper Steve Lavin. Down the road, not far away in our LA studios. Well, if you didn't know, this is what December in Los Angeles looks like. 35-34. It is a gorgeous day. We are inside the Galen Center, about ready to go for half number 2 of the number 5 team of the country. The Nevada Wolfpack leading USC by 1. Well, USC shooting a little bit above their season total. Meanwhile, the Wolfpack a little below. There have been hardly any free throws at all. Nobody's made a free throw. And Nevada has suffered at one point in the first half. Their largest deficit of the season, only 7. Courtside once again, Aaron Goldsmith and Jim Jackson. Jim, that was a fantastic first half.
Well, it's a fantastic picture right there of that coastline and why it's warm. But a pretty clean first half for USC, only 5 turnovers. This is a Wolfpack team that's been averaging 90 points a game, been held to 34 points in the first half. So USC continue the momentum. You know what you've done well, which is the zone defense has caused some problems. But what you've been able to do is get out in transition, get some easy baskets. Let's see if they can continue with what made them successful in the first half.
And Shaquan Aaron got off to a hot start, 7 points, but then limited a little bit by foul trouble. Only 2 fouls, but the only player on either side with multiple fouls in the first half. Rakocevic, a monster first half, 12 points, 7 boards. Boatwright steps back. Out for just 2 points in half number 1. 1 for 5 now. Upstairs once again. The feed by Caleb Martin this time, and the flush by Trey Porter, his first bucket.
Yeah, and that time Caleb Martin was able to waltz the ball up the court, really no resistance. And when the pass was up, Trey Porter at the rim. That time it was just poor secondary defense transition by the Trojans.
Rakocevic had a flush but couldn't hold on. Caroline, the free throw line, taking on Rakocevic, and is able to roll it through.
And that time, that was a quick decision by Caroline. As soon as he caught in, he attacked the basket right away. Rakocevic that time on the baseline couldn't recover up in time to really contest that shot.
A hot start by Nevada, now leading. Thornton taking high off the window. Taking on Porter, but can't finish. Martin steps back. That is a contested 3, and it's banks in. How on earth? A remarkable shot. He stepped aside. 7-0 run to begin the second half for Eric Musselman in Nevada. For more on that, Christina.
Yeah, much better start for Nevada. Musselman telling me at the half that the zone defense certainly gave them trouble. He said even more so them just not being able to get stops on the defensive end, be able to get out and run. That's their game. USC had a lot of balance on offense, but he said Thornton had been a handful, planned to switch Cody Martin onto him in the second half. And speaking of Martin, you saw the leadership from the guy I'm just going to nickname Arm Sleeve in the tunnel. He gathered his team together saying we have to be more aggressive out here, and we've seen that so far.
Well, it's a 7-0 run to start the second half. It's a 12-0 run dating back to the final moments of the first half. Quan Aaron fouled. That's the first on Trayshawn Thurman.
Well, what do you notice? You've been around this game a long time, Aaron. Veteran teams that understand the value of momentum. You finish the half with some momentum. The first 2 to 5 minutes in the second half, you want to establish what kind of game it will be in the second half. This is what the Wolfpack was able to do coming out of halftime, kind of putting the Trojans back on their heels. Let's see if USC can make the adjustment and respond. There's a lot of time in this game, but momentum definitely on the side of the Wolfpack.
And we are yet to see a made free throw on either side. These two teams are combined not just 0 for 4 from the stripes. Of course, not many fouls in the first half. Yet to buy one yet. Porter's been relatively quiet with emphatic authority this time, though. Well, both of his buckets have come that way.
That was just one-on-one basketball inside without any resistance, and Porter just able to muscle his way inside and finish with authority.
Boatwright get hot in the second half. You figure they need that, don't they?
Jump shot. I think where he's really good is establish himself inside, 15 feet. Seeing the ball go in. Great defense that time by Matthews.
Stripped ahead. Knocked away on the other side, but instead a foul. Thurman picks up his second foul as Quan Aaron hits the deck.
And back to Boatwright, I think Nevada would love for you to just settle for taking jump shots. Okay, if you hit him, fine. We don't have to extend our defense. Where he's really tough and puts pressure on the defense is when he's able to get into the guts of the defense, either score, sink it in, and then make plays for his teammate.
Usher has checked back in. Out on the floor. That's Trey Porter. Porter coming off a double-double against Loyola Chicago, 14 and 10. Kosovic taking on Porter. Basket foul is rather on the floor. So Porter picking up his second foul in the amount of a second.
Kosovic right here, a slip screen, drops that shoulder, and Porter, I think, wrapped around a little bit with his left hand, the body. And Kosovic playing a little bit more physical than you think he is by initiating contact early, trying to create some space to get that shot up over taller Porter.
Usher steps through, and what a touch. Usher, former top 100 recruit out of Georgia. Caroline taking on Kosovic, who fouls him. First foul for the 6'11 junior from Chicago.
And I thought that was pretty good D. He may have gotten Caroline up top, but I thought the initial defensive stance up in the air kind of bothered Caroline, but maybe at the end of the play, he tapped him on a shooting hand.
And our first free throw of the day.
There you go.
And that foul, by the way, on Jordan Usher, not on Kosovic.
Okay, he came from the backside. I thought Kosovic was in pretty good position that time.
And he gets them both. Caroline with 15. He leads all scorers. Thornton puts on the brakes, fades. Kosovic trying to keep it alive. Cody Martin to his brother. Caroline short corner. Fights for position. Up under, and what a finish.
And listen, Kosovic was in great defensive position. That was just a heck of an offensive play. Not only the spin move, the tight rope, the baseline, but the finish on the opposite side.
Well, Matthews answers, step back. That was 7 points. Timeout on the floor here in Southern California. How about this bucket?
Yeah, tippy-toe to side baseline, showing off some of that football footwork, but also the nice touch inside with the spin.
Well, the second half passed along to the Wolfpack. They're outscoring the Trojans 13-4, and really began in the final moments of the first half.
Well, Martin, the law firm, has been serving up some subpoenas right now because not only are they doing it together in tandem, but they're taking care of their teammates. Cody not really shooting the ball a lot, but has 5 assists. And Caleb, of course, not a shot that he doesn't like. 10 points thus far, 3 assists, but they're the catalyst of what happened with this team, offensively and defense, the energy, the spirit. They share the basketball, highly intelligent. They're the motor in which is needed for this Nevada team to really get going, and you see it in the second half as to why they've been able to jump out to this lead.
Well, Nevada, the number 5 team of the country, looking to get to 8-0 for the second consecutive year. Chaz Johnson on the floor now for Eric Musselman. A rare time where there was just one Martin on the floor. That's Cody. Thurman puts it up. And it's pulled down by Weaver. But a foul right away. That's on Kosovic. Well, this was a major story today. Kevin Porter Jr., the 5-star stud freshman from Seattle, out the last couple of games with a quad contusion. We were told that he would be able to play today, and that might be the case, but we haven't seen him yet.
Well, it's all about the rhythm of the game and the pace of the game and what's going on and transpiring. I think maybe if they had a big lead or something like that, maybe he gets some minutes, but the way this game is going back and forth, I think Coach Enfield is comfortable with the lineup that he has and the players right now. Probably just trying to protect him a little bit more so he doesn't injure that leg even more. Rather be safe than sorry. You have a long season ahead of you. One thing you want to do is rush this young man back because as talented as he is, he can give you so much more. You just want to make sure he's completely healthy.
Now, the replay we just saw, and you're absolutely right, was on a little bit of a hook there from Kosovic, and the officials are at the table just making sure on this.
And you know, let's see, after the play right here. Yeah, well, see, now this is a flagrant now in today's game in regards to hooking. And the correct terminology I have to get because I'm concentrating on my Ohio State game today. But the officials are looking at that right now for the offensive player hooking a defensive player's arm.
It has been called a common foul.
But they can look at this as a flagrant one based on the rules implemented this year by the NCAA.
So that would be the top of that list when the call is made on the floor as a common foul, and potentially in this case overturned to a flagrant one.
On the hook, right? Hook and hold. Got it. I'm not a big fan of the rule. I understand why they do it. For years as an offensive player, I would, hook a player in order to try to get a foul. But right now that rule has been instituted, hook and hold by the offensive player, reviewed is called as a flagrant foul.
So this has been changed to a flagrant one. On Kosovic. And puts Porter at the line. Here we go. 10-point lead. All 6 points for Porter have come in the second half. And here comes the other Porter, Kevin Porter Jr. checking in for the first time.
I think you spoke too soon in regard to that. Maybe his presence gives this team a boost, but where I think USC has kind of lost a lot of the momentum is on the defensive end. Second half, the Wolfpack had been pretty much able to get what they want offensively, which really wasn't the case throughout the first half.
So the Wolfpack with the 2 points and the ball. Caroline in traffic. He's fouled as he goes up. Boatwright. First foul on Benny Boatwright, who has really been a non-factor so far. USC led by 1 at the break. And the second half has belonged to Nevada, but you figure you could weather the storm for maybe a half against the number 5 team without Benny Boatwright playing well.
Not the full game.
Not the full game.
And as the key components of the offense, you have to know when it's your time to be more aggressive. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to shoot the ball all the time, but you have to apply some pressure to your opponent on the offensive end to force them to respect you. Okay, then you can pick and choose. Okay, do I finish on this possession? Do I draw the defense in and get it to my teammates? But we're not seeing that expression of I need to take over right now from Boatwright.
Taking baseline. How about that for Benny Boatwright?
Shut up, Jimmy. Shut up. But that's what you need right there. Put your head down. Be aggressive, force Nevada to have to guard you.
Caroline nearly doubled. Jazz Johnson for 3. That's his second 3-ball this afternoon.
We watched a lot of basketball early in the season. You tell me if this team, the way they play, the makeup of this Wolfpack team, you see why they're the number 5 team in the country and really could compete, you know, for a national title.
Boatwright may be feeling it. Corner 3. Loose ball controlled by Trey Porter. Three on the other side and put through. Eric Musselman begging for a foul as Trayshawn Thurman hits his second 3. Well, the number 5 team of the land starting to take over a little bit, to say the least. They have won every game, and they have won every game convincingly. Well, next Saturday, Coach Calipari brings his 10th-ranked Wildcats to Madison Square Garden. Reed Travis leads Kentucky's front court into battle against Seton Hall. Don't miss the City Hoop Classic next Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Fox and, of course, the Fox Sports app. Reed Travis, the Stanford grad transfer, averaging 14 a game for his 7-1 Wildcats. 22-6 has been our second half score in favor of Nevada.
I think Eric Musselman may have had a little talk with his team at half. I'm sure it probably was, conversational, a little funny. But you see a different focus, and I think from this Wolfpack team, a great shot that time by Usher. But the attention to detail, I think more so on the defensive end, to get stops and then get out and run, has enabled this Wolfpack team to kind of get their mojo back offensively.
Caroline has it stripped, and now a tangle. It's a little vicious. I'm saying it's intentional with Benny Boatwright. Pretty emphatic jump ball.
2 guys aggressively just going after the ball. Good defense that time, and Boatwright able to tie up Caroline, but Boatwright at the end gets the taste of the floor.
Usher put on the line. This is a 2. Pulled down by Thurman.
Yeah, and that's a tough shot. You can get that shot anytime, Usher. You got to kind of make the defense work a little bit more. That momentum going that time, kind of force that shot inside the 3-point line.
And a foul on Usher with the forearm shiver in the back. That's his 3rd foul.
And see, the challenge you have with Kevin Porter on the court, too, is on the defensive end because his lateral movement is going to be affected by that thigh injury. So being a half a second late to a rotation, okay, causes the defense to collapse. And even in this zone, being able to cover the corners and then get back in to rebound the ball could be a challenge.
Now 7 to shoot. Johnson left open, has a slight window, and he buries it. 9 points all from behind the arc. Foul as Thornton was at the free throw line. That's on Johnson, his second. Shaquan Aaron steps in now for Jordan Usher with 3 fouls. Aaron 7 first half points. 30 starts the past 2 seasons combined. And another substitution this time for the Wolfpack. Cody Martin checks in. I'll take Trey Porter's spot.
Yeah, Wolfpack doing an excellent job. The Mark is a really good team in regards to sharing the basketball, assists to made baskets. And right now, on 23 made baskets, 13 assists. So the ball is moving around, not a lot of one-on-one. That makes it challenging for the opposing defense to kind of stay in front of you. You know, it's challenging right now. I'm trying to see around Andy Enfield standing in front of us right now. We got a good look at his backside.
Long holding screen.
You know, if you had the courage, you would tell Andy, go sit down at the bench.
Suit's too nice for that today.
Well, you can't see through the suit.
Caroline gets it on the wing, puts it on the deck, and knocked away in the hands of Johnson. Has to put it up, and he hits Cody Martin. Matthews, too strong of a touch.
You know, Aaron, sometimes you can do everything right defensively. As you see a charge right here on that last possession. It was a great slap from behind, but it happened to get into the hands. And the Wolfpack able to take advantage of it.
Well, USC quickly scrambling for answers. They led at half, trailing in the second. Wolfpack now leading 61-44, moments to go inside their huddle with head coach Eric Musselman.
Well, moving about on offense, be unselfish. Share the ball. You'll get your opportunities. On the defense, play tough, finish the defense with our rebound. Now we can get out and run.
Well, you can see what they have done under his leadership the last 3 years. Last year, the 29 wins tied a school record. They reached the Sweet 16 for the second time ever. And this year, and we talked about this at the very start of this broadcast, Jim, you get the sense that anything shy of a Final Four, which would be their first ever Final Four appearance, would be a disappointment for Nevada this season.
Well, with the talent, the experience that this team has, of course, you look at it. Now, anything can happen once you get into the tournament. That's the beauty of an elimination, one-game elimination. But they have all the tools that could carry them to, you know, a Final Four. I think the key with them is getting themselves in position to get a #1 seed so they can stay close to home and have that advantage. And, you know, a long season, but first test, real big test. They're doing well, and from here, Arizona State is on the slate. You got to finish this first, but so far so good in regards to having answered some questions.
Well, Rakocevic fouled, and on the other side, of course, USC scrambling now, beginning to run out of time in their huddle. Christina, what'd you pick up?
Well, yeah, lack of ball movement, playing too much one-on-one basketball. That was a message from USC's coaching staff. They've gotten very stagnant here in the second half, and that's what allowed Nevada to open up this lead. And talking to Andy Enfield before the game, he brought up to me the fact that this team had averaged about 21 assists over the last 3 games. We're not seeing that here. The ball movement has disappeared.
And I'll say this, talking to Coach Enfield yesterday, his eyes lit up when he talked about the guys sharing the ball. Coach was a shooter. He understands how to shoot the ball, but he understands the value of moving and sharing. The tendency for a team that's struggling sometimes in a game is a player says, I'm going to do it myself. And then what happens is it's easy for the defense to guard up. You take a bad shot, turnover. Now you don't have balance. Hence, you give up transition back. That's what we've seen in the second half from this Trojan team. Kind of went away from the patience offensively and sharing the ball that we saw in the first half.
Martin, mid-range. Into the hands of Boatwright.
There's just no shot.
That's exactly what it was. Caroline on Aaron. Excuse me, Thurman on Aaron.
Yeah, it's great defense to slide his feet that time, and Aaron was cut off trying to attempt to get to the middle.
Rakocevic, an offensive foul. And the infield is livid. And it's Thurman.
Coach Infield saying it's a flop. Let's see if Rakocevic, with his elbow up top, gets Thurman right there. We can't really see, but I think the baseline official is he caught him. And now they're going to take a look at it above the net. So, again, even though it's not intentional, the rules state that you have to look at it. Anything above the net with an elbow is going to be reviewed and looked at as more than a common foul.
Andy Enfield needed to be calmed down a little bit by one of the officials. I don't know how well that works.
I mean, the easy review in regards to the contact is there. And, you know, back in the day, this is one of those plays where the offensive player would just clear some space. You would move the ball through the defender and go into your move. But because of the rule changes, concussions, and everything like that, even if it's, again, unintentional, the officials must review the play.
That shot from above the rim was a good one. It did not look like that elbow hit his face.
And let's see if how much, again, doesn't have to be a lot of contact, just enough right there. I mean, it's a tough view. It looks like there was some contact, maybe in a little acting too, but let's see what the officials, and that's, I think that's why they're really looking at this, to see if there was contact.
Well, you could tell by Rakosevic's reaction, he was shocked by the way it was called.
Yeah.
He clearly doesn't think
that he made contact.
That he made any kind of contact.
Right.
I mean, you'd think a big man himself.
Okay.
And they are explaining things to Andy Enfield.
So that angle up top, I think what the officials were looking at showed that it wasn't contact. It was just a player control foul. So good job by the officials of not making this a flagrant one. Good acting on that time. Herbie, he had me fooled.
That was impressive.
That was. Well, we are in LA. Come on, man.
Thurman foul, going baseline. That's Rakocevic, who went the whole first half without committing to foul, now has 3.
He kind of picked up a couple of little cheap fouls too, you know. That one right there, just probably not in position, not probably, but it wasn't in position that time. His move, his feet kind of reached in.
Fade away too strong. Right into the hands of Derek Thornton. Thornton started 20 games as a freshman for Duke before coming to USC. Dribbling all the way around to Matthews. He fades. Tough shot. Boatwright keeps it alive. Johnson keeps his hands off of it.
struggling to figure out and find what happened to those easy opportunities that we saw in the first half. And it's a combination of two things. One, Nevada ratcheted up their defense a little bit more, contesting shots. Two, kind of the impatience of the Trojans. And Andy Enfield said we want to do two things. One, attack in transition, but then if we don't have it, work the shot clock, force Nevada to have to guard us. We saw that in the first half, not so much in the second.
Johnson dribbles out. Cody Martin backing down. Has a height advantage so Kosovic shows up. Now 5 to shoot. Taking, hanging, finishing. Caleb Martin, he's got a dozen. The reigning Mountain West Player of the Year. Strict. The other way. Jordan Caroline, clear the deck. (65-46). This second half has been dominated by the Wolfpack. They're giving Thornton that shot. Instead, he takes and puts it through. His first bucket of the second half. And you figure USC today has played essentially without Kevin Porter. He has been on the floor, but was a non-factor. It was only a matter of minutes. He was questionable to play today. And then Benny Boatwright has just never found a rhythm at all. He's 0 for 5 from distance. He's 2 for 10 overall. Usher left open for 3. Loose ball. Picked up. Caroline is fouled by Usher. That's his 4th. Timeout on the floor. And we saw the finish by Caleb Martin. And then, I'll tell you what, when this man gets ahead of steam, Jordan Caroline, you want to be someplace else.
Get out the way.
It's sponsored by the Ram 1500. Motor Trends 2019 Truck of the Year. It's a beautiful day on the campus of USC. They are trying to hang, and they did in the first half, not in the second half, with the number 5 team of the country, Nevada, 65-48. We talked early on, Jim, about this non-conference schedule for USC and how last year, you can see at the bottom of the graphic, they had the best rated RPI of any team to get snubbed by the selection committee. So this year it was definitely an emphasis to win games like this. This is a tough one to win. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Texas Tech. A win against Missouri State, but a win today, or at least a competitive game, would have made a big statement.
Well, it puts you in a conversation because you're at home against top 5 team, the 5th ranked team in the country. It solves the argument of who you've beaten in the non-conference. And it's tough because last year this was the team that finished 2nd in the Pac-12. You saw the RPI. They got to the semifinals game in the tournament championship, but yet instead you got left out because based on what the requirements for the NCAA is, it's who do you play, strength of schedule, where you play them, road games, all of that. So it's important that you take care of your non-conference with W's, so you don't put yourself in that situation, especially if you're in a conference where you can't make it up against quality teams who may be ranked in the top 25.
Now, last year they actually led Arizona at halftime in the Pac-12 title game, but it went 0-5 against Pac-12 tournament teams. Kosovic, a pretty quiet second half for the big man, especially relative to the first. This year, like last year, they don't play the Arizona schools at home.
Yeah, and that's tough when you have an unbalanced schedule like that in regards to, especially teams like that you want to catch here on your home turf. But again, injuries have played a role in regards to the development of this USC team this year.
Caroline's 3 off the mark. Of course, one of the big storylines, the biggest storyline really for USC this year, has been the injuries. Isn't that right, Christina?
I mean, you just look at the list here, just absolutely decimated by injuries. Key guys missing time. Porter missing time. Boatwright coming in after missing the first 2 games of the season. Weaver missing time. Talking to Andy Enfield before the game, he said, I mean, it's been frustrating. He said it's been challenging. You're trying to implement a defensive system and you're missing so many of your rotation players. So this is a team that's trying to make an impact, trying to make a run, but it's difficult to do when you're constantly shifting your lineup.
And to follow that up in the preseason, Boatwright a good move and tapped in. Rakocevic. They had to cancel not 1 but 2 scrimmages, USC did, because they did not have enough healthy bodies.
Well, and also it impacts your practice time and what you want to input, because if you only have 7 or 8 healthy players, then you really can't input and get continuity. See Boatwright right here with the 3. It's all about offense and defensive continuity, and the way you get that is to have full bodies so you can practice at a pace and tempo that you emulate what you're going to play at. But when you don't have the bodies, it's impossible to get that kind of rhythm.
Boatwright, who's been a 50% shooter from distance this year, finally gets his first to land today. 1 for 6 from behind the arc. Deep 2 pull-up splash. Good, Cody Martin. Martin, the reigning Mountain West Defensive Player of the Year. Last year led the Wolfpack in assists, in steals, in blocks. 2nd in boards, 3rd in points. Nifty pass, Rakocevic trying to hammer it in. He gets the touch. Infield wanted an and 1.
Yeah, he did, but that time you see Boatwright again running the pick and roll with Rakocevic. That time able to make a play, and that's what I mean, being aggressive, not necessarily looking to score for himself, but setting up his teammates. He has to, if you're the guy, be the guy. Be a little bit more aggressive.
And Shaquan Aaron whistles for his 3rd foul. Now, when you look at this score, 67-55, keep this in mind. A tip of the cap to USC. This offense for Nevada, they average 90 points a game, the 9th most in the nation. And their last 3 games, Jim, 90 points, 96 points, 110 points.
Well, and keep in mind, too, the zone defense is going to affect the pace of play. Some teams playing more man-to-man allow you to have more possessions, more shots at the rim. But this USC team, for the most part, except for that beginning of the second half when they kind of let Nevada just stretch out, kind of did their job. They just got impatient, I think, offensively, which allowed the Wolfpack to kind of get some momentum, get some easy baskets, and it kind of deflated the Trojans a little bit on the defensive end of the court, which ultimately affected them offensively.
A little bit of a sloppy turnover. Weaver was looking for Usher. Weaver, the freshman 4-star recruit. And really, Nevada's turned the ball over more than USC today. This has been a calling card for the Wolfpack this year, and dating back to last year, holding on to the ball. Martin will dribble it out. Now this Nevada team looking as though it will get to 8-0 for the 2nd straight year. Now 5 to shoot. And a kick. Now the crowd not happy with that call. Second half offense. 35 points to 20 on the other side by USC. And they've been shooting the lights out of the ball, especially from behind the arc. Nevada just running some clock now. Of course, Cody Martin, Caleb Martin, Jordan Caroline, all testing the NBA waters after last season, all deciding to return for their senior seasons. This throws up a prayer. And now foul called. This is Trayshawn Thurman, palms up. Timeout with 3:40 to play in this one. Wolfpack looking to get to 8-0.
Well, you know what? I'm out of here quick. Okay, after the game. So our producer better not have an interview for me, anything like that. I'm out. I got to get ready.
Then let's get this out of the way now. Time now for the Lexus playbook. As this first play happened in the final minute of the first half.
Well, Jordan Caroline coming over half court, able to get it over to Cody Martin. And sometimes the communication doesn't have to be spoken. It's sign language. That time Trayshawn Thurman is in the corner pointing up. Throw it up. I'm going to go get it. Martin able to deliver on time. And then, again, hand signals, kind of like football. Communicate in transition. This time Caleb Martin has the ball. Trey Porter down the lane already told him, I got this, throw it to the rim. I can finish.
Talk about how much Nevada has dominated the second half. They're shooting 57% since halftime. Counter that to 36% for the Trojans. Same team.
Yeah, but, you know, you have a veteran team here with the Wolfpack who kind of been through the wars a little bit and, you know, made the adjustments at halftime offensively and defensively. And that's what you expect when you have senior leadership, okay? Not your prototypical point guard playing.
Sure.
But you have trusted individuals that handle the ball, that make intelligent decisions.
Cody Martin, who just missed that shot, moved from power forward last year to point guard. And a bad miss by Matthews. And that brings up a point worth noting for Nevada moving forward. They're without their 3-year starter at the point. Lindsey Drew injured his Achilles last year. That was in February. That's when Martin took over the point guard duties. He was cleared to practice just the other day on Thursday, but has been hampered by a hip injury. He has made this trip to Los Angeles, of course, to support his team, but also in part to see a hip specialist. And there's some really serious concern as to the severity of his hip and what his status might be in the short term and the rest of the season. So right when they thought that they were getting him back after the Achilles, the hip injury cropped up. But a tough night for Boatwright. Out of bounds and going the other way.
You know, it's interesting because the way Eric Musselman is kind of reorganized by trusting the Martin to kind of handle the ball. Goes back to his NBA days, too. He was an assistant coach with the Hawks when I was there. And you make adjustments on the fly sometimes, and you understand the quality of players that you have, maybe a little unconventional at times, but coaches trust players that can make sound decisions, okay? And having ball handlers is a lot different than having ball handlers that make sound decisions. And right now, he's put the trust in both Martin brothers that they'll be able to handle the perimeter duties until they kind of really figure out what's going on with the backcourt.
Aaron might have gotten away with a step. 9 points for Shaquan Aaron, trying to get to double figures for the third straight game. Jim, you actually played for Eric Musselman. This is a guy who's been all over the place. College, the NBA, the D-League. Overseas.
I've been on 12 different teams, but I knew his father really well, too. So watching his career's trajectory, he was bound to have success at one point. Not that he didn't in the NBA, but he learned so much. I think when you're an assistant coach in the league, you figure out temperaments and personality because you're dealing with big egos. And I think it helps on this level in regards to getting these young men prepared for the challenge, especially what they have this year of expectations and how to utilize the talent that they have to achieve their goals.
That's on Aaron. Offensive foul. Well, let's see here. The coaching resume, 4 different countries. Did you know there are 4 pro leagues? And, of course, 3 different Division I schools.
Yeah, well,
he was the D-League head coach right here in Los Angeles.
Right.
Familiar with the Pac-12.
Yep.
He was an assistant under Herb Sendek at Arizona State.
That's called put it in your work. It's like a player that's played overseas. He's played in the G League. He's played in the CBA, European, and then finally getting a shot at an opportunity with the NBA team and making the most out of it because of that journey.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I say this is the first of 3 Pac-12 foes that Nevada will be playing this year. All will come either on the road or a neutral site. Next week, and nearly a week from now, they'll be playing Arizona State here in Los Angeles at Staples. And then it's never easy playing at Utah. They'll be taking on the Utes.
Always tough to play there. But, you know, one thing I like about this team is that they play at their own tempo. Okay? It'll be interesting to see if the backcourt remains the same for the Wolfpack. If teams will press up a little bit more and make the Martins really have to handle pressure more of an extended three-quarter court instead of allowing them to bring the ball up, because that can also affect the timing of their offense if they do it. Again, USC really can't do it because they don't have the bodies.
Ooh, a hard tumble to the ground, Caroline.
Tough foul here, and Caroline to the basket and going airborne, and not an intentional play here by Usher whatsoever. But when you have two big bodies like that colliding, and one has already given up his body in the air, a collision takes place. And being that big and powerful, you're going to hit the ground a little bit with more force than the average person.
Well, they will review it. That is the 5th foul, no matter how it shakes out for Usher, so he's done.
The key here, Aaron, as you know, is Usher go for the ball, and right there he does. It just happens that the arm comes across, and the angle in which Caroline comes in, those two big bodies, you're talking about two massively built young men, built like football players, coming together.
About to get to 31-2, the Wolfpack, when Caroline notches a double-double, 20 and 11 today. A senior from Champaign, Illinois. Last year, the starting center. This year, the starting small forward for the Wolfpack. How about that upcoming schedule, the notable non-conference games for the Wolfpack? Less than a week from now, right back here in LA at Staples against Arizona State, then Grand Canyon. Then we talked about the Utes at the end of the year. Taking on Larry Kraskowiak's club.
You know, test one, success for Nevada. Again, against a USC team, and you do have to put an asterisk there in regards to not having the full arsenal of complement of players. But on the other end, Nevada didn't come in here and didn't take this team serious, because it's easy to say our foe is not as talented, or the key players are not playing, and we can waltz through this, and you end up getting the L. But, you know, this Nevada team regrouped, gathered themselves, and was able to walk out of here with a much-needed victory. I think they kind of show everybody they are worthy of that number 5 ranking.
Now, USC led at the half, 35-34. And Nevada will go on to improve to 8-0 for the 2nd straight year. And they will continue their trend, more than likely, of winning every game by double figures. In fact, this is a much closer game than the norm have been for Nevada. They've been winning by an average of about 20 points a contest.
USC just ran out of, patience, I truly believe, coming out in that second half, because we saw some really good things from this team in the first half. And it's a building block that Coach Infield will take and say, listen, guys, this is who we are right now in regards to who we have. So we have to do a better job of allowing ourselves to have a chance to win the game. We can't beat ourselves, like right here, creating offense from your defense.
Now Thornton gets his hands on another, hurdles the camera crew. Good hustle play with under 13 seconds to play. USC will be back in action. That will be on FS1 on Friday at Staples. They'll be taking on TCU. I hope to see you there. Well, fine way to punctuate this victory for Nevada. 73-61. This was an impressive showing once again by the Wolfpack.
You go on the road, you're going to be tested, zone defense, where's your mentality at, little earlier game, all these things go into consideration. But when you're the number 5 team in the nation, when you have senior leadership, this is what you come to expect. You play hard, you share the basketball, you rebound, you complete the purpose. Right now, Nevada is rolling. Tough team to beat.
Nevada 8-0 for the second straight season. They've won every game by double figures. For Jim Jackson, for Christina Pink, for our entire Fox Sports crew, I'm Aaron Goldsmith. So glad you could join us here in Southern California this afternoon. After the break, we'll send you out to Mike Hill, Casey Jacobson, and Steve Lavin in our college.